As we bring in Woo, can I just read you this tweet from Courtney Cronin, Hogue? This is bizarre. People were talking about Jalen Johnson having the C on his uniform, one of the Bears' 8 captains. How many captains?
Be careful going after Tony Medlin around here. Hey, man, you don't
Woot.
You can go after a lot of people, but not Tony.
Well,
Don't mess with T-Med.
Jalen Johnson said he was unaware that he did not have his captain C on his jersey today when I asked him. He's one of 8 captains worn the C in every other game. Said he would need to talk to Bears equipment manager Tony Medlin for an explanation. I don't know if he's going at Tony Med.
Look, they have so many captains. They ran out of patches.
They could have. They definitely could have.
Ran out.
They definitely could have. Maybe it didn't get. Maybe it fell off. It wasn't stitched correctly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons.
Can't we go for the fun one that Thomas Brown is laying things down and taking away C's because we don't need 8 captains? That would be more fun. That's not it.
I would think it's more fun if like a rogue equipment manager was just like, no, you're not a captain this week. I'm not putting that on there. That would be more fun.
You wore that coat in here tonight, taking that C off.
Yeah, that'd be a tough situation right there. People be fighting in the locker room for that one, I think.
Right? Or what if he took? Listen, Corey, if you had a C, you were this whole week you're preparing for the game, and at the end of the game, you think you have a C on your patch, and they're like, "Hey, where's your C?" And then when you go talk to, you say, "I'm your head coach." You talk to me, I was like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, you're not a captain anymore." Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Forgot to tell you.
I don't think if they could report that on the media if that happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody might end up in a body bag in the Hudson River. You know what I mean? No.
This is our players only segment. We're kind of adapting a little bit here today since we're in a little bit of a different formation.
Upgrade here. I'm a player.
Carm.
Thank you. Thank you, Lance.
Tennis pro over here.
6'1",
He's a tennis.
Took down Alex Paz.
Yeah.
World-class tennis player, world-class golfer. Let's go.
Yes.
Run it.
Can I ask the players the question I was going to ask them, please?
Yes. What do you want to ask me and Carm?
No. All right. So Braxton Jones, he practices all week and then comes in Sunday morning with concussion symptoms, which I've never heard of. Remember, they played last Sunday, so that's a whole week. Regardless, I find it hard to believe that he just didn't feel anything all week, and then all of a sudden it was Sunday, and they know it's from the last game. Whatever. My question is, the biggest problem with that to me is that you have a rookie in Karan Amagaji who didn't get the first-team reps all week then if Braxton Jones was practicing. Mm-hmm. So, as players, what is your reaction, Lance, we'll start with you, to that situation? Okay. Is there a problem there at all? Maybe there's not.
All right, let's say this. Let me tell you this. The Braxton Jones situation comes off of the same week that a linebacker from the 49ers said that I don't want to go back in, okay, because of a linebacker situation. This happened in the same year that the first round quarterback from the Indianapolis Colts said I need to take a play off. Okay, it's not like this isn't happening. Like this is isolated issues. This is happening around. We have a Nate Davis, you know what I mean, that has all kinds of issues with practicing or being available to a team that's paying him top dollar. So it's not isolated. This issue that I see, it's not just Braxton. It's a group, an entire group of men that have been in an era. And I don't know what year it began, what year it ended, but it's an entire group. And I see a lot of guys that can dress their ass off. But I need you, but they don't show up on doggone Sunday.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's kind of hard, Lance, at this time of the season. We're not hitting like that. So how you gonna get a concussion? That's what I'm confused about.
Crazy
at this point in the year. So I think he's checked out, and maybe he didn't want to be there anymore. Maybe he doesn't want to play with the situation of the team in the locker room. I really don't know, because that's the strangest thing I've seen towards the end of the year, when you're not hitting, you're probably in soft shells and helmets to practice all week and then say, I have concussion symptoms. Is he in Fight Club or something? Is there something I don't know?
Well,
I've never heard anything like that.
Well, I think the way it was explained is that he suffered the concussion in the game last week, but then they didn't figure out that he had those symptoms until later in the week. Isn't that correct?
He self-reported, Greg.
He self-reported on Sunday morning, a full week
Sunday
after the
Sunday,
game.
yeah.
After the game, a full week after.
Practiced?
Yes, and what I also practiced all week. And what I also find interesting is that the team couldn't wait to tell everybody this was from last week. Normally, you just say, remember the whole Trey Burton thing? The night before the playoff game, or 2 days before the playoff, whatever it was, and it was like, oh, he's all of a sudden got a groin, right? Was that what it was? But that's all he said. Like, there was no context. Like, it's interesting to me that they're like, oh, this is from last week. Because if you had just been like, he got added to the injury report with concussion symptoms that he reported this morning, everyone would have just been like, oh, so it happened in practice this week.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it did happen in the game, and then it took them all the way until Sunday to figure out that he had those symptoms.
But it didn't take them. It didn't take the team a week to figure that out. He came in and he said, hey, I think I still have symptoms from a week ago. Okay.
So what would you be if you were I don't know if the protocol was
if
the
I
same
was
way
Levy Smith.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if
Greg is so confused by this, he can't figure it out.
Right.
So listen,
Oh yeah.
I might have had a concussion from watching this team this year.
Damn right.
So, but I'm just trying to understand then, what would you be saying to the coach then in terms of like what symptoms you're having?
There's not a symptom that I wouldn't have on Sunday that I didn't have throughout the week.
Correct.
There's nothing like there was something that wasn't right with me during the week. I'm not here to hide this stuff. You're in an era now where you don't hide it.
Correct.
I come from an era, and before me is an era where we could hide stuff. You're in an era now where you are taught not to hide these because it's too critical. It's too critical to hide, especially the brain. Why the hell would I wait the entire week to say, oh man, I forgot to tell you I have some issues with my brain? Well, I forgot to tell you I'm gonna fine you the maximum of what I can fine you for waiting until now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Come on, you're an adult male. You know better.
If you were going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, like let's just say for argument's sake, he had a mild headache, right? And he's hoping that it's going to go away. He doesn't want to report it. And then he gets to the end of the week. It hasn't gone away. Now he's like, oh, God, I got to go up against the Minnesota Vikings on Monday. I just don't feel like I can do it. You
knew you had to face the Vikings all week.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bad
I'm
job.
not buying that at all. Like I agree with what Lance is saying. In this day and age, right, you err on the side of caution. What they're showing about the brain studies and trauma and all that stuff, people are getting in front of things as opposed to waiting to the last second. So I don't buy that for 1 second.
I just wanted to try to be fair to his point of view or the potential that it was genuine, because we went through when Nate Davis said, I'm not playing 2 minutes before the Detroit or Minnesota game. And Nate Davis had missed out on the benefit of the doubt. And we knew in that moment he basically was giving a middle finger to the Bears. But Braxton Jones doesn't strike me as that type of person. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Braxton is not Nate Davis. Braxton, in any dealing I've ever.
That's not. Yeah, I agree, but
really
it's still a problem though if he was hiding it during the week, thinking it would go away. And then, oh no, the day before the game, I can't travel to Minnesota. And now this rookie from Yale hasn't practiced all week. I guess the overall point here is even if there was no
malicious
intent, you didn't help your team.
You screwed the team.
Yeah.
You screwed. There's no thought process that says, okay, this was the best way to go. There's nothing there. I played with the Tommy Harris, and when he got hurt, he was the best D tackle in the game. All right, and he had his hamstring muscle ripped off the bone. Okay, did the splits right in front of me. Okay, when he came back, and we played. Matter of fact, we were playing the doggone Vikings. All right, and I'm watching the film. I'm watching it on the field, and I'm like, man, and And I told him going into that week, I was like, maybe you shouldn't play this week because you're not looking that good in practice. Like, you're not moving that well. And it's not, you're probably going to hurt us more than help. No, Briggs, I got to be out there. Okay? Then he goes out. Of course, we get beat by the Vikings, and then watching him move, and as we go through and we review our film, like it's take you out of the meeting room and like, Tommy, listen, we need for you to be real about yourself. Okay? Right now, you're not the Tommy of old, and right now you're maybe not all the way back. And you on the field hurts us more than helps us right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Which speaks to the lack of leadership with the Bears, period.
Well, and the record this year with their concussions isn't that great either.
Can't figure it out.
But you can't if they're not reporting it. Sorry, we'll go ahead.
No, I mean, I think it's just a really weird situation, and I feel like the Bears in general, they've had a lot of concussions this year. Maybe they need to do some more neck exercises or something. Like supposedly that does well for concussions and stuff like that. But it's kind of sad because Brisker's been banged up for most of the year dealing with that, and then I just never have seen anything like that. Like waiting till the day before to say that, and then Amagachi like kick sets or lack of kick sets, and that was that. Where was the technique? There was no technique at all, and the constant penalties. He had probably 4 penalties in the game. I mean, and then them leaving him on the island early on, I was just very, very surprised by that, especially when you got a rookie.
Yeah, Woot, to that point, the first one, the one where Caleb, I think we all thought was actually dead, that was so bad and so slow on a kick set that I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, you know what? The back must have missed an assignment there and was supposed to chip because he was so slow out of his stance, like he was almost expecting somebody to be there up the top, on the top to chip. I'm like, okay, like some way we're gonna find out post game. There's someone screwed something up there, and then it happened again, and there was no back there at all. So you knew that they might even been empty on that one, and you're like, oh, so that's just he's that slow out of stance.
Yeah, well, I think as a tackle in general, when you're going off that silent count, especially your first time on the road, that crowd is rocking in Minnesota, probably nervous. You're naturally going to get off a little bit slower, especially his first time really, really being out there. So I think it was a combination of that. But literally, like there wasn't any kick steps. It was just turn and run and just off balance. And he did a couple good things in the run game at times, but he's definitely got to improve in the pass game for sure because there's some major inconsistencies in that technique.
Which real quick gets back to the practice thing because, and you guys know this, they'll get in that Walter Payton Center and they will blast that noise during the practice week as loud as they can to practice that silence count. And if you're not in there with the ones,
you don't get any experience with it.
You don't get any experience with that during the week. So, Woot, any other final thoughts before we let you go? I mean, we were talking about Caleb earlier. We were kind of all in agreement that this might have been one of his worst games of the season.
Yeah, I think it was a tough game for him. Missed a lot of throws, and then I heard you guys talking about the receivers not helping him out when he needed them. There was a bunch of times where receivers were open, couldn't hit them, holding the ball a little too long. I think it's just been a tough situation. You're wondering, are games like this really hurting him in the long run, especially if they can't get things figured out. It's just been a tough year to go 4-2 to now 4-10 at this point, losing 8 in a row. And then you see him on the sideline with his body language, and that's probably going to be a meme tomorrow where he's standing there like, on the sideline. So you never want that.
Be a meme of him laying down like Bears season.
So you never want that, but it's just so unfortunate. Like, how did we get to this situation right now? Right at 4-2, everyone thought, man, they're making the playoffs. They're doing this, and I know, there's some bad teams that they play, but they just look like a different ball club. And it's going downhill, and now guys are thinking about what their plans are on vacation. It's tough when you get to that point in the season. It really is.
We know that they're not allowed to go to any luxurious destinations, Woot, after this year, right?
Yeah, you got to rough it. You got to go to 1-star resorts, Motel 6, baby.
We're going to Galveston, or we're going to Quad Cities, or we're going up to
We're going where Braggs grew up.
we're going to Gurnee. We're going to Great America in January.
No, we're going to Indiana by Braggs.
Yeah, there we go.
Come on by.
Get the pool out.
You can park in the cul-de-sac. You got free parking. Woot, great stuff, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you back here on Sunday.
All right, you guys have a good one. Take it easy.
All right, brother.
Go to bed.
See you, Woot.
It's Corey Wootton.
We all silly like the mayor.